My name is David Harrison Greis. Welcome to the Greis Report, your unfiltered daily voice for truth. Tonight, I want to talk about some troubling events that happened over this past weekend. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a timeline of Halloween. So here in New York, I've been doing some digging and some reading. New York felt rather uneventful in terms of like a federal presence here through the Halloween season so far. But in Chicago and Evanston and all the suburbs around Chicago, there's a very different story. So Governor J.B. Pritzker of Illinois actually went to Kristi Noem and said, I ask you, please leave our people alone and let the kids celebrate Halloween. And she was like, no. She just laughed at them and was like, no, we're just going to come down harder. And she did. So we have a very disturbing video that comes out of Evanston. And yes, before you ask the question, the local politicians are involved in this. So this was in Evanston, Illinois. This was on Friday. The video originally that I saw, that I mentioned where it looks like somebody backed up into her car. Now we have a full story. So what they did is they didn't actually back up into the car, but instead they brake checked the vehicle multiple times while surrounding the vehicle from all sides. So they were already prepared to swarm before they even did the brake check. This was a purposeful attempt at an abduction. And then the video that I'm going to show you, this comes from AP News, so it's actually reputable. And you will actually see this disgusting Gestapo agent is kicking and punching and beating and choking and dragging this man along the pavement while he's handcuffed. And it's a little disturbing, so just brace yourselves.
Why are you doing this? Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Leave him alone! Hey! Don't do that! Don't do that! Why are you punching him? You're punching him! You're punching him! You're punching him!
Don't shoot!
This is what Trump is doing during a government shutdown. Instead of paying SNAP benefits, he's paying these monsters to hurt, abuse, and abduct and terrorize our citizens. That's all. CBP, Customs and Border Patrol, they have absolutely no business carrying out civil enforcement. And in fact, a traffic collision isn't a crime. If you exchange information, that's the legal route. That's not a crime at all. Things happen on the road. But they treated this as if it were a crime. So I don't know what they're going to try to do, whether it's vehicular assault or whatever charge they're going to try to levy at this poor guy and these poor people. But my God. What we're witnessing is terrorizing America. And to that effect, Mayor Daniel Biss of Evanston, Illinois, was like, yeah, they're abducting people. They're beating people. Get the hell out of Evanston. I thought that was a very strong and beautiful response, and I hope when that comes to New York that our people have as strong a response. So if you like what you're hearing tonight, please remember to like, subscribe, and down here we have an email address, thegreisreport@gmail.com. Again, that's thegreisreport@gmail.com. Please send us any tips, leads, story requests, any video that you might have, any images that you might have, or of your stories. I've heard from a number of you across the past couple of days about some things that are going on in your states and some things that might be personally happening to you. And I want you to know that I am happy to tell all of these stories. Once you're ready to come to terms with the stories that you're telling, I will be happy to be your voice. And that goes for everybody who's watching this show right now. I will be happy to be your voice to actually tell your story about what's going on. And hitting that subscribe button will help us get these stories out there, because there's no story truer than what you're living right now in this nightmare that we all face together. So let's continue with the show. So I saw a very disturbing report from ProPublica where they were able to uncover at least, and this key word here being at least, so that means possibly even more than 170 or more citizens have been abducted by the ICE secret military forces so far. 170 citizens, people like me, citizens. We're getting abducted. We're getting terrorized. Activists are being terrorized now. And we don't even know what's really going on in our country, because now if you want to talk to anybody in the West Wing, you have to make an appointment with the West Wing to actually, if you're pressed and you want to talk to somebody in the West Wing, the administrative offices of the White House, you have to make an appointment. Before you didn't have to. There was a press room. And worse yet, when it comes to war, Congress is supposed to have oversight of the president when it comes to the war powers. So the president's supposed to go to Congress and ask for powers of war for anything lasting longer than at least 1 to 2 months. Like, after that point, you need to get war powers. Now, instead of asking for war powers, Trump is just like, nah, we don't need war powers. And then Hegseth goes and tells everybody, if you want to talk to Congress, you have to come to me first to get clearance to talk to Congress. We are living in a fascist police state, and this is the final end stages of fascism. They are starting wars with no congressional oversight. They have no plans to reopen the government. We need to resist. We need to general strike. We need to prepare. We need to stock up, get out on the streets, shut the country down, show a unified force against fascism, because nothing else is going to work. We need to get out there and make this happen. And I would ask you to reopen the government, Mike Johnson, but I don't think you have any intention to. But please swear in Adelita Grijalva, so at least we can celebrate during our general strike the release of the Epstein files, because that would be a massive victory for us and for the victims that are still suffering as a result of this cover-up. They did it in England. They stripped the prince of his title. Why can't we do that to a president here? I'll leave you with that ending question. My name is David Harrison Greis. Thank you for joining the Resistance, and have a great night.